Hello everyone, my name is Marlena and welcome to my channel. And if you are returning, thank you for returning. This is my second video and I'm super excited to be talking about my to be read or TBR and why reading goals should be flexible. So let's get started. Today I'm sharing my current TBR with a caveat because this is a hopeful TBR. It's not set in stone. And while I did set a goal of reading 80 books this year, I do realize that life happens. Reading goals should not be set in stone, especially if you're busy or overwhelmed. I used to feel pressure to stick to the reading goals that I set myself, but honestly, that took the joy out of reading at times because life changes, energy changes, mood changes, and so your TBR and your reading goals should change too. Here are 5 reasons why reading goals should be flexible. Reason number 1, not all books require the same effort. A 200-page comfort read and an 800-page epic will take different levels of effort. Both require different levels of attention, but that doesn't mean that the 800-page book is a better read than the 200-page book. Reason number 2, life seasons change reading capacity. Busy weeks, emotional stress, illness, burnout, caregiving, they all require different levels of energy and require a different reading pace. That's not failure, that's just reality. Give yourself some grace, give yourself the time to get back into reading when you're ready. Reason number 3, reading is not a productivity metric. Reading does not need to be optimized. It's allowed to exist simply because it brings comfort, escape, or pleasure. It doesn't need to be anything more than that. Reason number 4, consistency does not equal quantity. So consistency is what is going to build your relationship with reading over time. Consistency focuses on the long term, whereas quantity just counts the outcomes. So if you're looking to build a relationship with reading over time, it's best to focus on consistency, reading 1 chapter a day, 1 chapter a week, however many books a month, to build that relationship with reading. And finally, reason number 5, why reading goals should be flexible. Accomplishment looks different for everyone. One person may be completely fine with reading 1 book a year and consider it a victory, while another person wants to read 100 books a year and won't settle for anything less than that. And either one is totally fine. Both goals are equally meaningful because they're personal to that person that set that goal. So whether you want to read 1 book or 100 books, it doesn't matter. It's about what you feel and it's about what you consider meaningful. Now, with all that being said, I want to talk about a few books that I would like to read this year that are on my TBR. Keep in mind, these are all books that I currently have in my possession. I do have a to be read list for books that I have not yet purchased that I do plan or hope to read this year. But for right now, we are going to stick with the TBR for the books that I currently own. And the first book I want to talk about is The Book Club for Troublesome Women by Marie Bostwick. I actually found this on a trip to Barnes & Noble. It was on the new releases shelf and I picked it up because of the cover, because I thought the cover was beautiful. And I read the premise and I thought, hey, this is something that I just might like. We are following Margaret Ryan in the 1960s. She is living the American woman's dream. She has a husband, 3 children, a station wagon, and a home in Concordia, one of North Virginia's newest and most picturesque suburbs. She has a standing invitation to the neighborhood coffee klatch, and now, thanks to her husband, a new subscription to A Woman's Place, a magazine that tells housewives like Margaret exactly who to be and what to buy. On paper, she has it all, so why doesn't that feel like it's enough? Well, I'm very excited to read this one. I'm actually a member of a book club, and I just find it a very exciting experience, and I do love a good historical fiction book. So, super excited to read this. Not sure when I'm going to read it, but we'll get there. Next, we have The Undoing of Violet Claiborne by Emily Critchley. This is a gothic type novel. Gothic fiction at its darkest and finest, according to a review on the back of the book. This has been on my to be read on Goodreads for a while now, and I just finally picked up a copy of it. This takes place in 1938. Gillian Larking, lonely and away at boarding school, is used to going unnoticed, but then she meets Violet Claiborne, her vibrant roommate who takes Gilly under her wing. Violet is unlike anyone Gilly has ever met, and she regales Gilly with tales of her grand family estate and her two elegant sisters. Gilly soon finds that behind the grand facade of Thornley Hall, darkness lurks. I love a good Gothic thriller. I love a good historical fiction Gothic thriller, especially. And so I'm really excited to read this one. Next, we have another Barnes & Noble find, The Frozen River by Ariel Lawhon. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. So this takes place in 1789. When the Kennebec River freezes, entombing a man in ice, Martha Ballard is summoned to examine the body. As a midwife and healer, her diary is a record of every birth and death, crime, and debacle that unfolds in the close-knit community of Hallowell. Months earlier, Martha documented the details of an alleged rape committed by two of the town's most suspected gentlemen, one of whom has now been found dead on the ice. But when a male physician declares the death accidental, Martha is forced to investigate on her own. This seems amazing. I am excited to read this one for the premise. It seems like very interesting and a good historical fiction type novel. It looks like there may even be an air of mystery in it, which is great. Yeah, I'm very curious about this one. I'm excited. It seems to be like a historical fiction / literary fiction type novel. So yeah, we'll read this one soon. Next, we have The Bane Witch by Ava Morgan. Now, if you watched my previous video, you will know that I love things all witchy vibes. So Ava Morgan wrote a book that I had really enjoyed called The Witches of Bone Hill. So I was really excited to see this one. This one is apparently practical magic meets Gone Girl, and I love both of those things. I tend to read more witchy books around fall time or autumn time. But I don't know. I don't know if I can wait for this one. I think I might have to read this one a little bit earlier than that, but we'll see how it goes. The next book I have is Wally Lamb, The River is Waiting. It's been a really long time since I've read a Wally Lamb book. I think that the last one that I read was We Are Water, and it was more than 10 years ago, I'm pretty sure. I really enjoyed She's Come Undone by this author. I know this much is true. Those were all great books, so I'm very excited to read this one. It's been a while since I've read a Wally Lamb book. So in this book, you're following Corby Ledbetter, and Corby is struggling. New fatherhood, the loss of his job, and a growing secret addiction have thrown his marriage to his beloved Emily into a tailspin. And that's before he causes the tragedy that tears the family apart. Corby is sentenced to prison, and he struggles to survive life on the inside, where he bears witness to frightful acts of brutality, but also experiences small acts of kindness. So given Wally Lamb's previous books, I think that this is kind of right down his alley of the type of books that he writes. And I'm hoping that I enjoy this as much as the other books that I have read from him. Violet Thistlethwaite is Not a Villain Anymore, a mouthful, by Emily Krempholtz. I saw this and I saw dragons and I saw the colors and I saw the flowers, and so I'm assuming that this is at least magical realism, possibly fantasy. And if I'll be honest, I bought this for the cover because it is so gorgeous, but nonetheless. Guy Shadowfade is dead, and after a lifetime as the dark sorcerer's right hand, Violet Thistlethwaite is determined to start over, not as the fearsome Thorn Witch, but as someone kind, someone better, someone good. So we got some more witchy vibes here too. I'm really excited to read this one. It seems like a pretty short read, about 350 pages, not too shabby. But yeah, I'm hoping to get this on my list to read pretty soon. And lastly, we have Party of Liars by Kelsey Cox. I have been seeing this all over BookTube for some time now, and if I'm being quite honest, it seems like a very exciting mystery thriller type read. So the premise is, it's Sophie Matthews' 16th birthday party, an exclusive black tie bash in the heart of Texas Hill Country, where secrets are as deep-rooted as the sprawling live oaks. Sophie's dad has spared no expense, and his renovated cliffside mansion, once thought haunted and shuttered for years from outsiders, is now hosting the event of the season. Then, just before the candles on the three-tiered red velvet cake are blown out, a body falls from the balcony onto the starlit dance floor below. And then it goes on to talk about a killer guest list. I definitely want to read this one soon, probably within the next week or so if I can. I actually just finished a book, so I'm looking to start a new one. Maybe it'll be this one. I'm not quite sure yet, but I am excited to read Party of Liars. So in conclusion, reading doesn't need to be measured by quantity or by specific goals. It doesn't need to be measured by what other people are doing or goals that other people have set. As long as it brings you comfort, it brings you some curiosity, it matters. So if you want to set the goal, but don't feel like you have to stick to it because life changes, moods change, everything changes. So your reading goal should change with it. Don't give in to pressure from others thinking that you need to read 100, 200 books a year to be successful. Reading just one book is a success. Reading is a form of self-care. And self-care means finding the time to take care of yourself in a world that can just be complete chaos. And even though I've only listed 5 reasons why reading goals should be flexible, I know that there must be more. So if you can think of any, please put them in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. So thank you for taking the time to watch my video today. I really appreciate it. And I'm so excited to see where this channel goes in the future. Stay tuned for my next video.